Hello, welcome everyone. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Deana. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get right into it today. This is a timeless collective reading for anyone who found this video, the title resonated with, or whatever else. We have an upcoming new moon coming up. We've talked about that a little bit. It's in 3 days here at 9 degrees 3 minutes of Gemini, so both sun and moon in the sign of the twins, Gemini, ruled by Mercury, which is in retrograde. And retrograde can take those extroverted mercurial issues and internalizes them, so that we're internalizing our thoughts versus verbalizing. And when we do verbalize, we often have some misunderstandings, or additional clarification is needed, or something of the sort. Got a couple cards popping out here. 17, consciousness, and 34, passion. I did a little pre-reading and I was getting all the 4s and I had a few 7s. Now consciousness is 17, which reduces to 8. Passion is 34. Okay, let's just keep going here. So with the chart ruler for the new moon happening to be in that retrograde status, it's bringing some need for clarification, need for negotiations, or a big transition going on. So Mercury has just gone from the sign of Gemini and backpedaled into the sign of Taurus, where we had the recent eclipses. And so Mercury is at the time of the new moon at 26 degrees and the north node at 22, so it's fairly close, where Mercury is looking back into the integrity, the initial plan. Is like looking back at a plan and saying, okay, have I deviated? Have I accomplished the intermittent goalposts, or what needs to be adjusted? There it is, change. What needs to be changed, or what is changing now? So many of us are already in the midst of change in our lives. Merkaba under the deck now. So an expansion of something. Let's see, we had a few coming out. Tantric journey was face up. We've been having that a fair amount lately. I just heard pheromone when I said that. And then the next 3 coming out in a pile upside down are heart chakra, throat chakra, and compassion. So I'll just kind of leave those here as a group at the end. So this expansion, we've talked about Mercury being in retrograde. That rules the throat chakra. Speaking our truth, following our purpose and our destiny. And root chakra is also crosswise in the deck here. And under the deck, 13, coherence. So an expansion going on here. And I was saying to someone recently, no matter the amount of passion at play, it takes the consciousness of 2 whole individuals in order to create the true tantric journey in the intimate way. So both individuals need to be on their own tantric journey to enable the coming together, that full intimacy. And so I feel the change that we've been looking at, some of you of course will be having this in your job sector, others in your health and well-being. It's whatever is changing, it's falling back into love with your passions, allowing your passionate sensitivities and sensibilities to come out and play. I have a bunch coming out, but the only one coming upright is 33 Joyful Muse. I do want to get the cards one at a time, and it came out with Lost Compass, Getting Back to Integrity, and in the hand, the universe is your partner. So Joyful Muse, inspiration. Yeah, there's new inspiration, possibility for union with Skybridge underneath. It's like both individuals changing themselves rather than trying to change the other individual by exploring their own passions, by taking their own journey and exploring their own well-being separately. Let's keep going. So we have Heart Home coming out under consciousness with compassion. And Crown Games, right use of power under that. So, and by the way, I have taken the lead of another one of my people that I like to follow on YouTube, and I have blended 2 decks together, which is new for me. I just did it right before I was going to go on camera, and I just really enjoy both decks. But the new deck, the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, has really been speaking to me today. But I've been missing my Mystical Shaman deck. So I blended the 2. Let's see, what more on consciousness? So compassion, enlightening, and completion. Something, I'm seeing these 3 C words, compassion, consciousness, and completion here, with this lightning. So lightning can be some type of perfect storm, which is one of the cards in this deck, but it can be an epiphany, a realization, a tower moment, or a shocking or surprising or spontaneous happening, a spontaneous realization. And I'm seeing in the middle of this individual's core here, this orb, illuminated orb, and I'm seeing an object in that orb, almost as though it's a sword. It's almost not visible through the camera here. You may identify with being one of the blue ray incarnated individuals here to raise the consciousness of the world through breaking through your perceptions of injustice, creating passion and purpose and inspiration here as part of your soul mission. And with completion, this is saying that there's been a critical mass reached where your level, I want to say level of attained healing has reached the point where you're finishing something up and moving into a whole new way of feeling and being. It's like an extreme change at the core of who you are, which may have been well underway before this tantric journey with another was put on the table. For instance, you have been getting right with yourself, and now because of the level of that healing, you're pushing through this portal here, this Ouroboros snake that's devouring its own tail. It's talking about an old way of being, an old karmic cycle that had been repeating, and that there was more and more and more to learn, which was more of a circle than a spiral. And it's more like the phoenix energy versus the eagle energy, where the phoenix devours itself. It burns itself to the ground in order to be reborn. But the eagle rises above the storm. It's almost like we've been talking recently about confrontation, and with differing viewpoints, approaches, different consciousness levels, and how when we're ready to go in a new direction, all we need to to affirm for ourselves is that we're done learning those lessons, if we truly are. I mean, because there's that mixed bag of, okay, there's temptation to follow the karmic cycle, as I saw 1010 there, and then there's the reaching for something bigger, better, more. It's like that's where the expansion is. It's not just in newness for newness sake. It's in that joyful muse of inspiration. It doesn't matter if it's a person, place, or thing, but something that kind of lights you up and starts those inner fires. It stokes the inner fires like that. Have you seen where you'll see the a coal car of a train, or in one of those ships, don't they have the big thing that they throw the combustible material into to then engorge the flame and stoke the fire, which then in a steamboat it would turn the paddle wheel, which then pushes all of the water, 1111. And then it's like that, the gears, the cogs in a wheel that are all spinning and turning are all an acceleration made possible by feeding the inner fire. Nice symbol. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. In Heart Home with consciousness, it's like you've been in a divine journey to come back home to yourself for quite some time. And you've invested in something beautiful here. I don't know if you're moving homes or have moved homes, but I'm seeing that this is an upgrade. It's divine timing. It's synchronicity. I'm seeing this new key. And this place seems like an enormous upgrade on many levels. And being in this new environment somehow is able to unlock something within your heart that was dormant before. It was inaccessible for some type of a reason. So now the time has come where this lightning bolt of consciousness can really penetrate through the density that was there before and continue to uplift you. It's like you're releasing the karmic cycle, though, from that snake. Because I'm seeing this as the past position. What with passion here? So what can we learn about passion? These are a little bit difficult to shuffle for me this first time, but it's so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy the mixed messages here. Mixed messages. So coming out under passion, we have the 17 Earth card. And we've already got 17 consciousness over there. And 38, reducing to an 11, many masks, the authentic self. Yeah, so even this Earth card too, the Earth card sometimes to me appears to be a face emerging out of a rock or a mask itself that somebody's wearing. It's almost like the eyes are not really part of that hardened exterior. Eyes are the window to the soul. This seems to be somebody that, well, obviously is a very earthy individual. Their roots run very deep. And they may look to nature for guidance already. I'm seeing that this person may have some indigenous roots somehow, whether that's this lifetime or in a past lifetime. But they may have been they may have been playing it safe, I want to say. And with this new acceleration, the passions are becoming so compelling, and the dedication and focus upon expanded consciousness and expanding the joy and inspiration of following your bliss and your passions, and seeing that someone is feeling self-love. That's what I'm feeling with this many masks today. It's somebody is letting someone in behind the mask and feeling that sense of acceptance, self-acceptance and self-love. 1515 there. Okay, one last card here for passion. Skywriting the fates. This came out on the pre-shuffle. Something is written in the stars for you, if you will. It's your destiny and your fate. Not that there aren't elements of that path and journey that can't be altered and changed, but there's some type of a destiny. Oh, and I'm seeing a blue feather here. If you see feathers along your path, take note. Some people believe that's angels or guardian angels or spirit just saying that you're on the right track and you're supported, and that the forces and the powers that be are gathered to assist you. So yeah, it's like seeing beneath the mask. And this doesn't need to be just another individual, but it's allowing yourself to come out of hiding. I'm seeing also a face in the heart chakra of this many masks authentic self individual, and it's looking like one of those statues, the bust statues. Okay, and it's seeming to me to be ancestral guidance here, and coming through a meditative practice and the journey of authentication that we've been talking about with Venus and Mars traveling the way that they are. It's like the critical mass. If you don't know what critical mass is, it's like the amount of energy required to allow some type of either quantum leap or chemical reaction to occur. Like there's another term, flashpoint, when a combustible material such as gasoline or diesel, the flash point is the temperature at which that liquid or material spontaneously combusts. So at a certain temperature, if you spill gasoline, all it takes is the temperature to spark that. Of course, it's a high temperature. Other things are more combustible. So this is coming with passion again, combustion. Yeah, so it's like it's time. It's that tipping point that is occurring where you get that spontaneous connecting, bridging information or download from spirit or from your spiritual practice or a catalyst person or event where there's just a completion and a new beginning here where you spiral up instead of circling around. So tell us more about this change. Of course, that change, like we said, will be different for many of us, but the themes seem to come in patterns. I just had a whole bunch spill out on the floor, caught one with my elbow. The elbow is the child. This may have to do with the child. We've been seeing a lot of legalities popping out, and some of you, I feel, are dealing with custody or estranged children, or maybe you are the child in the situation and it's family dynamics. There's more to this card, but let me check what's down here on the floor. It looks like we've got 4 of them. Here we go. So that's nice. Okay, so we have the Sweat Lodge, the Drum, Luminous Warrior, and the Andean Cross. Very nice reading. Okay, so what is changing? Somebody's maturing. There's been a big cycle going on You may have even met someone at one of the recent moon cycles, or will be meeting someone at an upcoming event. There's something about the native wild quality of this child. And today it's looking like it usually seems to be an androgynous character to me, but today this is looking more feminine. Not that it matters, but I'm seeing that as the inner child. Let me keep going. But it's something about maturing from the nuclear family into the point of destiny where this realization is reached, where there's a completion of your role as child in some way. I mean, for some of you, my condolences if this is you, but there may be the death of a loved one, a parental figure where there's this coming of age, or it could even be a grandmotherly, grandfatherly figure. But there's a change here where the child is leaving the nest or leaving that nuclear family in some way. And I'm seeing this sweat lodge as going into a risky situation where eyes are upon you, maybe going to college or getting married or moving in or having a commitment, and there's people watching, and there's this element of fertility. Oh, I'm seeing more of the background of this card. In the foreground, the shadow always looks like that. I think it's Coca Capelli. It's a fertility god, I believe, maybe African. It's kind of a Loki type energy in my mind, but fertility and dancing and joyful revelry. But the sweat lodge to me kind of looks like that, like an interview, a job interview where you're sweating and looking for approval, or putting in your resume or your college application, or moving into a new dorm or something, and then you're meeting all these new people that you're going to have to share space with. There's some type of a big change here, but it's a point of destiny for sure. I'm seeing this drum as the heartbeat of the earth coming through, conjuring for you the perfect storm so that you can don your spiritual wardrobe, your spiritual attire, but on the vibrational level. So I'm not saying like go out and get like some, oh, my hair is in my eyes. I'm not saying like going out and getting some type of literal garb that then you're going to go out and look like somebody culturally appropriating a different culture that you think is revered, like, oh, now I'm going to go out and shave my head and be a Buddhist monk, unless that's truly your thing. But it's like this is the drum calling you to your destiny. And I'm seeing a spiral here. Yeah, so this is reminding me, the spiral is reminding me to look back at this card. I started to look at the background. There's a whole pond out back, like this lake that isn't apparent when you go up this brick pathway. And then there's this entrance of the portal here, which signifies the closing of a chapter, the completion of a cycle. By approaching this, wherever there's a destination here, a destination, a point of arrival where you walk in, you open the door to the next point, and at first there's this bubble where there's a swell of information and stimuli and things to take in, an overwhelming presentation of self, and taking in the presentations and personalities and character and masks of other individuals, the many masks and the authentic self. Okay, So you're meeting someone and you're putting your best face forward, your best foot forward, and also trying to be authentic at the same time. And it's sometimes in what we don't say, I'm feeling, and they are as well. Maybe a boss might put forward a mask of authority, even if they're easygoing, just so that you are on your best behavior and don't show up 10 minutes late your first month, right? So don't make snap judgments mean more than they can just help you to look deeper. Take it as an opportunity to be curious about what lies beneath that initial mask. You know, some people just grunt, other people are very curious. And you will have your own demeanor, which you won't necessarily always recognize the various faces that you show that other people are interpreting at the same time. As you're considering others, others are considering you. Yeah, so in your message, in your presentation, so there's a change here in this maturing cycle, this whatever is completing, whatever new place is going into, what lies right beyond that initial swell. It looks like there's a whole new frontier out here. The clouds are kind of being blown away on the breeze, I'm feeling. And then there's this enormous opening, like you're going to be able to perceive a vast new frontiers, I'm kind of feeling, by walking through this portal, by keeping yourself centered and aligned through that initial sweat lodge where you're sweating off the salt, the saltiness. You know, when people are salty, it's that you got to sweat it out. You've got to engage in tension every once in a while and use that tension as a creative inspiration for your betterment and not a reason to backslide into those places we don't want to go. So that spiral is in the garb here, in the Merkaba field of this individual. You may identify with having been a shaman now or in a different past life influencer that's putting some bearing on yourself. You may have a drum yourself. If you do, I would definitely work that into some of your meditations and see if when you close your eyes, if you're able to astral travel to a destiny designed by your spirit guides, guardians, angels, for you to venture into a magical land where you can receive energetic downloads through your symbol language. Yes, spending this time is going to assist you in conjuring, manifesting, and getting aligned very, very deeply within your own self. And I'm seeing with this Andean cross, Andean, somebody's named Dean. I just saw that because for the first time, and my name's Deana, but I had an uncle Dean. Did somebody here have a family member, Dean, Deana, Diana, DeAndre, Andrea? You get the point. If I'm close, this message is probably particularly for you. So this luminous warrior, to me, although this may represent yourself, to me this looks like the encountering of another individual who is going to be a prominent figure in your next chapter. This may be one of your spirit guides stepping forward. It may be ancestral. But I'm sensing that for some of you this is also confirmation from those beyond the veil that are supporting you, that somebody that you're encountering, somebody that you are seeing through the mask and seeing their eyes. You're seeing what is unsaid beyond the mask, beyond the best foot forward. There's a deep connection through the eyes and through eye contact and through, it's like falling into another's eyes when you're having a deep conversation. And this can happen amongst friends as well, so don't get caught up in all the romantic symbolism here. Being in love with your path is spiritual ecstasy. It is the tantric journey. And so as you change and evolve through whatever this new chapter is, you're being shown new things here. And there's so much more to this luminous warrior that I want to talk about here too before I move on to tantric journey. We're already at 30 minutes. There's some kind of there's something going on around the shoulders here, like, I don't know if it's some kind of a jacket with fur around the collar, or some kind of a hoodie, or something that somebody likes to wear, or something. But I'm also seeing this as somebody's, oh, okay, that's what it is. Okay, so the colors of the aura are visible to some, and there are some types of photography where you can picture and photograph your auric field. And I recently finally got one of these done because it's been a curiosity of mine. And if you haven't had one done, it is very interesting. But you sit there, and as your emotions are rising and falling, as your thoughts are shifting, as you say, oh, that thing's really cool, oh, relax, your colors will shift and change. And imagine this when we're considering things like the old wounded narrative, or, oh, that person made me so mad when, and the types of energies that are swirling around you, acting as magnetic, your magnetic field that is going to attract more things to confirm the biases of your mental focus. And so with this absolution of karma coming through here, it's like that old hamster wheel dynamic or dilemma that has been playing out perhaps through the family dynamic, perhaps since you were a child. There's this new opportunity, and so when you walk into there, I'm hearing fake it until you make it. That keeps coming out, but there's a need to be your real self, and to love yourself enough that even if another misjudges you, or even if you fell on your face at your interview, there's still so much more that happens during an exchange than that one thing that somebody might have worry or anxiety over. So don't limit yourself in that way. There's some type of an experience with the inner child, whether it's a fear or a perception of some type of I was hearing bully earlier too with this child, some type of a bullying, cliquey situation from childhood maybe even, or some type of thing where there's this confrontational energy that you're facing, you're walking into the dragon's cavern, the cave, with all of your spiritual warrior gear, maybe your energetic, gemstones. I've got some selenite. I don't know. I don't think I've said anything about it, but I do make some of my own jewelry. I'll feed you all that line another time because I'm not ready to sell you right now. But if gemstones are part of your thing, I intentionally use my gemstones and I put them on intentional sides of my body to draw energy in and to project energy out in a very conscious and intentional way, especially when I'm dealing with what used to trigger me in very extreme ways, and working with throat chakra right now, which is on the deck, and Mercury retrograde is ruled by Mercury and causes some types of self-doubt sometimes misunderstanding. So I'm wearing a lot of blue gems to correspond to that, and I had put on some green gems to correspond with the heart chakra, which also corresponds with the rose quartz of self-love If you don't know about gems, rose quartz is one of the best gems to start with if you're drawn to it, because rose quartz encourages self-love, self-acceptance, forgiveness and compassion and empathy for self and others. But so, yeah, there's so much more to that. We would have to do a different reading altogether for all of those information topics. But there's all kinds of ways to wear colors on your body that make you feel good, wearing clothes that make you feel good. Don't go to an interview or out on a date or something wearing something that you don't feel suits you. Don't let your suit wear you. You need to wear the suit. So if you need to dress just a tiny bit down in order to stand up and look amazing and not have like the blazer that's too tight and then you button it and it's like gaping, it's not a good look. It looks like you don't have the resources to, or the wherewithal and the knowledge to dress socially acceptably, right? It puts out that initial presentation. I know that in the past, one of my bosses gave one of the guys that he hired a really hard time because he showed up to his interview with kind of long hair and no socks to an interview. And my boss was, an older generation guy who thought that certain things. And so he basically told this guy, we like you a lot, but you'll have to cut your hair and wear socks if you want to show up to your first day of work. Now, isn't that weird? But it's part of dressing the part. It's part of the mask, and it's part of your spiritual armor. So Andean cross is like, how do we, and also, okay, look at how on completion, how there's those directional arrows going up, down, left, right, maybe north, south, east, west, like a compass, or like a roundabout. I'm hearing somebody might get lost on the way. Leave yourself lots of extra time during Mercury retrograde. And if you're signing a contract, make sure to speak up now or say that you need to have space in that contract for further negotiations or further, ask for it to be put into writing during Mercury retrograde for sure. So Indian Cross is about managing the wobble of how you present yourself, how you believe in yourself. Like, don't let those old experiences put you into that place where you're totally sweating in this, like, interview or meet the parents or something like this. Because, yeah, it's, there's so much more to you than the things that you would have anxiety about that are so apparent to others, even though you're wearing your mask. So Indian Cross is about maintaining and managing our wobble so that we are in the position to go through that portal. We don't want to come off a side or the other. And I didn't look it up myself, so I apologize if this isn't 100%, but the degree of the new moon coming up is 9 degrees and some change, which then rounds up to the 10th degree in Sabian symbols. And if you know anything about Sabian symbols, they're very interesting. Each degree of the zodiac, all 360 degrees, somebody channeled a symbol for each one of those degrees and wrote them out. And this was done spontaneously. This individual didn't know what the degree was. They were all written on a private card. They would hold it, and then they would say what was coming to their mind. Anyways, the 10th degree of Gemini is, I believe, an airplane performing a nosedive. And that's just incredible. I mean, of course, with the completion, we want to see ourselves as leveling up. But that nosedive, I said something like fall on your face at an interview, right? Or getting lost, or... It's about making it through the center, the bullseye, hitting the bullseye like in darts or something else. And it's like the luminous warrior is making a bullseye in some type of a way, or you are with this luminous warrior. But as an aspect of yourself, I see this as that sweat, that salt in the sweat passing through the pores, the karmic residues and heaviness almost evaporating away or being devoured by this serpent energy here in the moment, because of that critical mass of facing down and smiling and holding ourselves confidently and telling ourselves that we deserve it. Fortune's wheel, luck and right timing is under the deck. Beautiful, number 23. So let's move on to Tantric Journey. Oh, that's too many. Still have a little bit of slippery hands going on here. I think I have to hold it crossways. Tantric Journey, so getting right with yourself and allowing the rising and falling of maybe your temperature or your fear to just keep soothing yourself. As an anxiety races up, say, no, that's false evidence appearing real. That fear does not have any bearing here. People like me, and I am a good presentation. All of these things. People want to hire me. You know, tell yourself the truth. Don't tell yourself the lies of the past. And it's all about trusting trusting the process. I knew dragon energy was incoming. Number 12. Dragon's Hoard, protecting the future. So this may be a new home, new apartment, new dorm. Those keys are there again, or moving in to a new partnership, having the keys to someone's heart, protecting the future. So yeah, there's some type of a way thing happening here where something is uplifting you and unraveling the karmic patterns, and you're seeing through, you're dissolving or disillusioning yourself to any lower vibe attachments, any lower energies that would threaten to tell you that you're on the wrong path, because you're completing an old cycle. You are on to something that is going to take you someplace significant, someplace that has everything you need. It's like this beautiful, and maybe you're going on a vacation. Maybe that's what it is, because there's like this beautiful lake, camping, getting back into wilderness, into nature. It's almost like the prairie, but it seems to me otherworldly here. So maybe it's someplace foreign, overseas. Maybe you're going someplace with the ley lines of the earth, vortices of the earth, because there's something here about protecting the future and working with the grid on the earth in a very tangible way here. So if you are someone who feels drawn to light language or intonation, singing, or any of those things, or, right? Thought I heard my dog out back. He should be in the house. I'm sorry. So maybe that's some type of a confirmation here. So, okay, Tantric Journey. Tree of Life, 58, and the Blade. Tree of Life definitely looks like two people coming together to me to form a union, a legacy. It can definitely still be something platonic, but I'm seeing this as a willing entanglement, an uplifting, grounding entanglement, and taking time to yourselves to withdraw and retreat together to either formulate a plan or together to get to know each other. And you're protecting your future I swear to God, I'm going to have to go and check on my... Okay, as I'm listening, I think it's all good, but somebody may be here. I'm going to have to cut this short. So Tree of Life is, I believe, about an entangled energy and a coming together of partners. And the blade here, I'm seeing the moon energy from that child card again. Number 6. Oh, I thought so. Be right there. Blade card looks to me like an eyeball of a dragon. It's like, oh, the sweat lodge and the dragon's hoard. And I said about going into the dragon's cavern. And then we've got this sense of being inspected and looked at and looked over here. So maybe you are somebody who practices cleansing rituals too as part of this spiritual armor. I use a feather, whatever you use, to just kind of periodically, you may cleanse with a sacred herb like white sage is popular, Santa Paula. What is that? Santa Paulo? Yerba Santa. But there's definitely a cutting away of the residue of any lower vibrational beliefs about yourself primarily before coming into this point of inspection. So, okay, last card here. All right, last card under the journey. There it is. Joyful Muse, Inspiration. I knew that one was popping out today. 33. That one came out in the pre-shuffle as well. So we've got 32, 33, and 34 on the cards today too. So there's a lot of number synchronicities. And under the deck, meditation and stillness, deep quiet. I feel like you're taking meditative time to yourself with either family or friends or partners here to, it's like the coming together and the blending of ideologies and philosophies and a bridge to the future. This is definitely that critical mass, that turning point of destiny, and coming back into the home here, the heart home, expanding the consciousness through that exploration of inspiration and passions and possibly music, because music or painting or just humor or dressing the part, because I'm seeing these glasses. And don't be afraid to show yourself and your talents. Other people will find them very interesting and unique, and people want to see that authentic self. They've seen enough masks in their world. People want to get to know that internal part of you. So we'll go ahead and let us go light and take some love notes from the universe. Okay, karma is on your side. What did we say? You're the luminous warrior. The more that this karmic cycle is released by you, no one else can release it but you. See how that cloak or that armor is now, there's less of a need for spiritual armor when you just are luminous unto yourself, because you've completed that cycle. So you no longer have those holes in your aura that people can pick at. You're solid on your own, and your self-love says, if they don't like me, that's their loss. Karma's on your side. If you could read all the minds that I read, hear all the prayers that I hear, and beat all the hearts that I beat, I wonder if you'd even believe how often you're thought of, talked about, and fallen in love with. It's payback time. Andale, andale, the universe. You'll find what you seek. If you've ever suddenly found and been loved by someone amazing, awesome, fun, and fantastic, chances are astronomical that you will again. And if you haven't yet found such a person, chances are astronomical you will. It's up to you, the universe. Everyone is doing their best. Maybe you're the interviewer. There are really only two types of people, those you now love and those that you will love. Until then, there's only one type of person. And then we'll probably hit replay. Oh, I read that wrong. And those that will love you until there's only one type of person, and then we'll probably hit replay. The game of life, the universe. It's time to make a demonstration. Do you know why it's so easy for us to see, for us in the unseen, to quickly pinpoint your whereabouts? You leave behind footprints of love. Beautiful. So you don't know the impact that you're making on other individuals, but you have made an impression. So trust the process. Affirm that you're getting this opportunity. You're accepted by whatever social situation was making you sweat. You've got the job. Whatever you've got, there's a change on the horizon for you. So go ahead and get quiet and try to take that astral journey if you can, and provide or protect your energies, of course, over the next few days. And I think I'll leave it there. So this is Friday, so I will be back on Monday for another broadcast. So take care, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much.